Minor Elementary Data Overview by Carolina Parker. The focus of this presentation is to analyze 5th grade reading and math data. Data sources used were the CRCT scores for years 12-13 and 13-14, the Georgia Milestone scores for years 14-15 and 15-16. Additional data sources used were the district assessments for the 16-17 school year. This presentation will be ideally shared during pre-planning week with the following teams: 5th grade teachers, ESOL teachers, special education teachers, gifted teachers, school improvement team members, and administration. The purpose of this presentation is to offer staff the opportunity to analyze 5th grade data in the areas of reading and math in order to discuss the best course of action needed to improve teaching and learning at our school. Here is our first graph, which includes minor elementary total enrollment over the last few years. It was steady for the 12-13 and 13-14 years. It went up in the 14-15 school year, and it went down again on the 15-16 school year. Enrollment by race and ethnicity. This shows that we have an increasingly growing population of Hispanic and Latin American students, which also make the largest population out of school, followed by African Americans, Asians, white, and multiracial. Enrollment by gender. We have a larger population of male students as compared with female students at minor elementary over the last few years. Here's a chart of the program percentage for special education in ESOL for our school. In the 12-13 academic year, we had about 10% of the population in the special education program, but it has gone up by 4% in the 15-16 academic year. We also have a 54% ESOL percentage of students for the 15-16 academic year. Minor elementary gifted program. On average, the gifted population is 7%. The population by race and ethnicity is as follows: Asian 13%, African American 6%, Hispanic or Latino 3%, and white 14%. We can see that the Hispanic population is underrepresented in the gifted program compared to the Asian and white populations. When it comes to gifted by gender, we have 6% of the gifted students being female and 7% of them being male. When it comes to the free and reduced lunch percentage, we had 89% in the 12-13 year, 87% in the 13-14 year, 88% in the 14-15 year, and for the 15-16 year, we had 87% as well. The attendance rate has remained constant at 97% over the last few years. Our current mobility rate is 34%. Here is the discipline data for minor elementary. In-school suspensions represented in black, and out of school is represented in blue. We can see that both have increased over the years, but for the in-school has been steady over the last 2 years, whereas for the out-of-school suspension, it has gone up on the year 15-16. Minor elementary teacher demographics. There are currently 84 full-time teachers at minor. Here are the demographics by race and ethnicity. We have 3 Asian teachers, 16 African American, 3 Latin American, and 60 white teachers. By gender, we have 5 male teachers and 79 female teachers. By degree, we have 27% of them with a bachelor's degree, 50% of them with a master's degree, and 23% with a specialist degree. When it comes to years of experience, the majority fall into the 0 to 5 category, followed by the 16 to 20 years of experience category. Overall, the majority of the teachers fall into in between 0 and 20 years of teaching experience. 5th grade CRCT scores by subject for both the 12-13 and the 13-14 academic years. The colors represent the does not meet, meets, and exceeds. Blue is does not meet, purple is meets, and pink is exceeds. As we can see across the board, the does not meet percentage of scores is much lower compared to the meets and exceeds percentages for both years in all subjects. For the Georgia Milestone scores, 5th grade, Georgia Milestones for the 14-15 and the 15-16 academic years. We have 4 categories for this test. Blue beginning, purple developing, pink proficient, teal distinguished. As we can see, the trend has been reversed as compared to the CRCT. We hold a higher number of students at the beginner level, whereas there's a lower percentage of students at the distinguished level. Here's a minor elementary district assessment data for the 16-17 school year. And this displays a picture of the current state of the school, if you will, for 5th grade. 161 students took these district assessments. We take a pre-test, a post-test, and they also take it at the end of the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter. We can see that comparing to the pre-test, the students made significant gains from the beginning to the end of the year, but not by much, but they made some gains. We can also see that the third quarter scores were much higher than the first and second scores. And we can also see that social studies was the area of lowest performance in all the times that they took the test. Now we're going to concentrate on the reading and math 5th grade data. 5th grade students took the reading CRCT and the Georgia Milestones in the last 4 years. 2 years worth of CRCT, 2 years worth of milestone. This is a picture of the population who took the test. It is a bigger sample for the milestones over the CRCT for all school district and state level. Here's a graph of percentage of 5th grade students below proficiency level in reading. For the CRCT, all levels did better on the 13-14 year since it has the less amount of students below proficiency. I'm going to concentrate on minor. We did much better that year, significantly much better than the 12-13 academic year. For the Georgia Milestones, the 15-16 school year was better too for below proficiency since we had the lowest numbers in all levels. Definitely better than the 14-15 school year, which was the first year we took the milestones. Percentage of 5th grade students at or above proficiency in reading. Now in here we have that minor and the other 2 levels did better in the 13-14 year for the CRCT and in the 15-16 year for the milestones. We can see that the percentages of students at or above proficiency for the milestones are much lower than the ones for the CRCT. Here is the population that took the milestones over the CRCT in math, and we also see that the students, more students took the milestones than the CRCT in the last 4 years. The below proficiency level in math was better for the 12-13 year for minor in all levels, but for the milestone, it was the 15-16 academic year. We had less students at minor scoring below proficiency that year. The percentage of 5th grade students at or above proficiency in math was better for the 12-13 CRCT year, and it was better for the 14-15 milestones year, which is a bit surprising. Again, the percentages are much smaller compared to the percentages of meeting or exceeding for the CRCT. The CRCT versus milestones. Here are some observations and inferences. When compared to the CRCT, a larger of 5th grade students took the milestones at the school, district, and state level. There is a higher percentage for the at or above proficiency level in the CRCT scores, whereas the opposite trend is seen in the milestones at the school, district, and state levels. The percentage of scores below proficiency is lower for the CRCT than for the milestones in both reading and math at all levels. And the percentage of scores at or above proficiency is higher for the CRCT than for the milestones in both reading and math, also at all levels. In regards to school level performance, the percentage of students scoring at or above proficiency on the CRCT was higher in the year 13-14 for reading and higher in the year 12-13 for math. Based on the data, one can infer that the milestones test is more rigorous than the CRCT. This can also be due to the adoption of Common Core. Strengths. For the strengths and weaknesses summary, I will concentrate on the 2015-2016 milestone data. The percentage of students at the beginner level went down in reading and math in the 15-16 school year for our school. The percentage of students at the proficient level went up in reading, science, and social studies in the 15-16 school year. The percentage of students at the distinguished level went up in science and social studies in the 15-16 school year. Now the weaknesses. For the year 15-16, reading and science were the subjects with a higher percentage of students that score at the beginner level. Reading and science were also the subjects with the lowest percentage of students scoring at the distinguished level. The percentage of students at or above the proficient level in math decreased in the 15-16 school year. We were expecting the math scores to be higher at that level the second time we took that test, but it was not the case. And we can also see a reading and science trend going on. We probably need to concentrate on that as well. So discussion. Based on the overall data, the school is struggling in all subjects, but especially in reading and math. The school's annual improvement goal for the year 2016-2016 was to continue to implement the workshop model in reading, writing, and math. I believe we must continue with this initiative and see where it takes us. Emphasis should be placed on more item analysis sessions, common assessments, and student work samples to determine the standards students struggle with the most. And 2 questions to ponder. What can we do to move students from one category to the next? And what initiatives can we adopt to help all students become successful in all subjects? The next steps I propose will be to meet with 5th grade teachers and instructional coaches to discuss strategies that can be adopted to improve learning. We need to plan with administration the focus of future data analysis sessions. This includes scheduling, subjects to focus on, data sources, etc. Meet with ESOL, special education, and gifted teachers to discuss the possibility to offer 5th grade teachers staff development on best practices for ELLs, students with learning disabilities, and gifted students. If we use the experts in our building, we can probably make education better for all students. Next point will be to schedule collaborative planning sessions for teachers to create grade level common assessments, both formative and summative. And lastly, we need to dig deeper in daily data such as assignments, teacher-made tests, work samples, etc., which is where we can really truly see what the students are not understanding, how can we help them, and what can we do to improve and move forward. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.